back, everybody. MCOC AlBundyRules here with another Variant 5 completion run. This will be the last one, which will be 3.2. So on Chapter 3. So hopefully you all saw the previous ones, which were done for each of the other completions, which will be 1.1, 1.2, 2.1, 2.2, and 3.1. All of which done item free, used to help you in walkthroughs and guides to get through Variant 5 with no resources spent. Once again, these aren't designed to be pretty, but it's designed to help give you a walkthrough or guide to find useful ways to get through Variant 5, get those awesome rewards while using no resources, because basically that's what it's about. Getting those resources using no resources along the way. I'm going to be starting off here in this war machine. We saw the buff path in which I took. Got to be careful on this one because the longer it takes in between hits, he gets the regeneration going. So if you go 10-15 seconds without a hit, he's going to heal right back on up pretty quick. But even more potentially damaging, the longer you go without hitting him, he gets those theory buffs going on. So not only will they heal completely up in 15 seconds without a hit, he's also going to knock you out with 1 or 2 hits if he makes contact. Even through a block can do extremely high damage if you go too long. So the key to this path is stay very aggressive. You got to keep hitting in. Easy way to stay aggressive is a lot of these you'll see you just get that parry and going because you can't wait long between hits. So for that purpose, someone like Voodoo is extremely well, as Dr. Voodoo has that beginning by regeneration. Nulls any of the damage for the first part of the fight, and then on my next fights I can regenerate parts that were lost from some of this chip damage. It also helps a lot on Dr. Voodoo's S2 as being able to keep that power burning going on, which is going to allow not too long having to try to bait specials. Sometimes they just don't want to throw the special when you're trying to bait them, and next thing you know they regenerated a ton and got a bunch of attack power. So if you don't have to worry about that, take that out of the equation, makes things much smoother. So going on through, continuing to wrap up this fight with War Machine, all nice and smooth so far, and an easy KO. So you saw what it is, pretty much using S2 to try to gain the power, kept the power burning active, and just used the S1s along the way to keep some poison damage going. Next up, we got Howard the Duck. And over 200,000 health pool, so take a little bit. I'm going to use Dr. Voodoo again. He works very good on these Variant 5 fights. You've seen him in quite a bit, showcasing several of my other videos, and on the runs and explorations I've been doing not on video, I've been using him a ton. I found him ridiculously helpful for Variant 5. He's probably been my favorite mystic for Variant 5 so far, even more than Doom and some of the others, although Doom has been awesome also. Get the poison going to start off on Howard the Duck. Again, usually when I use Voodoo, especially when I'm very important for me to try to control the power, which for this lane, if you don't control the power, it's going to get ugly quick. So I using those S2s and keeping the power burns active is extremely important. Again, just trying to, if you don't control the power, if you get stuck to where they don't want to throw a special and when you're trying to bait it, you're going to lose a lot of time. They're going to regenerate a lot of health and get a lot of furies. Then if you miss an intercept, 1 hit, you're down. Keep going. We see I'm keeping the power at below a bar easily thanks to the S2. Also keep some extra damage going in since Dr. Voodoo is not exactly a heavy hitter, but what is underestimated is how much damage he can do from keeping the poison going on. Some fights will get a lot more than others, especially champs that are heavy buffs. Convert those into poisons, and you can do ridiculous damage on buff heavy champs, which you've seen in some of the variant videos with Voodoo I have done. Some of these buff heavy champs, you'll get over a dozen poison's rather simple and be doing a couple thousand poison a tick. So now, fight number 2, Howard the Duck is down. We're going to move it on to the third fight now, which is going to be Diablo. Again, I'm going to stick with Dr. Voodoo again, as I've been doing on these videos. My only real goal is get a path completion with no items used. I'm not trying to be pretty or fancy or anything, just show you how to get through with no items. And so I'll get the most out of one champ. My main goal usually is to get through most, if not the entire lane, with one champ as much as humanly possible. That way I don't have to be too paranoid on the boss fights. Boss fights be a little bit more to them, of course, than the rest of the path. So I like to have a little bit of a cushion, have a few champs for there. So if I can get through an entire one of these paths with 1, 2 champs at the most lost, then I'm perfectly happy, because having 3 or so is going to be pretty much always enough to have a nice, easy go at the boss. So I'm going to get as much as I can out of Voodoo. Again, that regeneration I got at the start, very helpful. And you see in Diablo, he's got probably the easiest specials in the game to evade. I believe I enjoy fighting him for the sole purpose of his specials. So easy to evade effortlessly. No thought needed in them. Although he is an underrated attacker, some of you may have seen the video I did on him on his attack ability, especially buff heavy champs. He can actually do ridiculous damage, but from a defender's perspective, he's just an easy kill. And again, I'm just going for simple techniques, keeping it easy. Don't want to make any mistakes. Again, I want to have as many champs as I can possibly have left at the boss fight. It'll be the final boss, and the Venom is a rather aggressive Venom, so easy to make a mistake on the fight, so I want to have a little bit of a cushion. So trying to play safe. Again, nothing fancy, item-free runs. And super easy fight on the Diablo. We'll be moving on to the next one as we're working on getting closer to the end of this lane. We're going to have the Black Panther Civil War. Here I'm kind of debating if I want to use Doom or Voodoo. No, Voodoo's a little bit low on health, but even if I lose him, I got through most of the path, so I'm not too worried at this stage. He's already done a good job. It's easy to make a mistake on a Black Panther Civil Warrior, especially if you parry at the wrong time, so I try to avoid it and play a little more carefully with them. But once again, with these nodes, I still have to play very aggressively while playing somewhat passively, because of the fact that you see those regenerations already going in, and one simple mistake, saw that when I just mislooked at the last part of that S1 by a millimeter, and I took a hit and knocked myself out without doing a whole lot of anything. So I did lose my Dr. Voodoo a little bit earlier than I would have liked, but there is a silver lining on that, because now y'all get to see some Mojo. Mojo, you haven't seen a whole lot of Mojo because I've been using some of the other mystics. However, he's fun. He's one of my favorites to use. Some of you may have seen my favorite champs to use in each class video. He is my favorite mystic to use, at least currently. He's fun to use, and we want to hear why. Once you get him going, he does some crazy stuff. For those who are not familiar, a command goes up, either champ does it, and then you get that that thumbs up. As you build him up more, the degeneration gets extremely high. So we will see at the beginning of the fight, not a whole damage is being done, but as I complete those little crowd prompts, you see that hater's gonna hate, hater game going on. Stuff's gonna start getting a lot more degenerative, I guess we'll say, based on, you see all that red degenerating stuff coming on out right there. And I got a pretty decent build up on Mojo now, and you see some serious damage being done as I complete those. And you just see red ticking away like crazy. So Mojo's pretty awesome. Like I said it takes took me about a minute to ramp him up pretty good, and at that point, not a whole lot is needed other than just either me or the defender meet the commands, which are all very simple prompts. So next, gonna go on to Agent Venom. Just 2 fights left in the path before the boss. I had some fun with Mojo the last fight, so not always wouldn't figure this might be a fun matchup if nothing else right here. The big thing on Mojo is you always gotta be paying attention. And I know especially where I do my thumb placement, sometimes it's hard for me to see what prompt comes up. Sometimes my thumb's covering it. If you're not sure what it is, you don't want to lose it and get a thumb down, so you can always do a heavy to restart it. But keeping it going, I'm at 4 thumbs up now. Again, as we saw in the last fight, as I get those thumbs up going, get those tasks completed, that degeneration just starts ramping up insanely quick. So I'm going to do what I got to do to get them up. Already back up at 5. And it's going to make things a lot more simple. We're at 7 thumbs up now, which is pretty nice. Get that degeneration ticking on down. Doing almost 2,000 a tick. Some haters going to hate active. And what you see is just pretty simple at this point. Completing no tasks. Avoid anything crazy. Again, I gotta stay aggressive on this fight to avoid those furies and regeneration building up. You see it's already at 1,000 a tick, or at 1,500 a tick, so well, as I said before, if you're too passive, you're gonna undo everything you've done. But the good thing with Mojo on these fights, you got the degeneration kicking, so if they do get some regeneration, degeneration will help balance it out. Last couple fights been a blast with Mojo, so let's give a little bit more Mojo fun going on. Wolverine should be a pretty simple fight, although he's going to have the regeneration plus the node regeneration. It's nothing that Mojo's degeneration can't easily counter out. We'll see that based on how I ended the previous fights. I started with 3 charges, the 3 at the top, since this Mojo is awoken, which helps me build up pretty quick and already at the haters gonna hate. Haters gained. Trying to get this, hold the block, there we go. Got the anti-life build up now. See, I get the little regeneration burst with that while I give the regenerations. I've already getting a close to 2,000 degeneration per tick, which is extremely nice. This S3 always gives me a little laugh. Nothing like a video game playing a video game. You know, we see Wolverine's on his last leg right here. Let's go ahead and finish it off. And down he goes. So that lane is done. Minimal casualties, one down. Mojo a little low on health, but not horrible. Last few fights, I don't even think he's lost any health. Lost most of it out of that first fight while I was building him up. Since then, he's been pretty smooth. So I got more than enough firepower to go ahead and hit this last boss. Venom, fairly easy, straightforward fight for the most part. Biggest thing is he's extremely aggressive, and his S2 is unblockable. And the timing on this can get a little awkward, so it's easy to, especially that second one, occasionally. So I know I'll have a hiccup on that S2 occasionally. I do like to bait his S1 as more as possible, but when they're overly aggressive or have high quick power, can't always rely on that. So with Magic here, goal is to try to get him a power lock for as much as I can. So, but I got to build up to that S2, and again get as much damage as I can done with them. But the key to this burst is going to get and then maintain the S2 as much as possible. So far I've been pretty lucky, been getting him to bait the S1s rather easily, even the power going up, and so that was imperative right there in getting those beta while getting that S2. So now I'm just going to keep him kind of locked in the corner and just get this for as long as I possibly can. She's not doing insanely high damage, but I am going to get off as big of a chunk as I possibly can, knowing I still got 3 champs left waiting over to pick up whatever scraps. Not going for the solo, just looking to get done as much as I can, and as quick and simply as possible. We see when I'm able to keep him power locked, it makes this fight much easier. Seems to keep him down too, because once he gets his power going, he just gets rolling aggressively. And if you can't get that bait out, it makes it far more complicated. But this Venom has such a high health pool. I think it was somewhere around 400,000 if I remember right. So it's going to take quite a little bit to get him all the way down. Let's chip at him a little bit and be good to go. So got him more than half down so far, so I'm happy with how Magic's been able to do on that. I am taking a little more block chip damage than I should be, but so be it. Pretty strong attack, and again, I'm trying to avoid any silly mistakes. If you try to play too aggressive, too much intercept, too much of that, easy to make a mistake, especially on a very aggressive Venom. So trying to play safe and chip him away. And there we go. Got almost him down, about 2/3 of his health down. He has 470,000 health pool, so it took about 300,000 health off of him with Magic. I'm perfectly happy with that, knowing I'm going to bring Doom on up next, and well, Doom's going to be fun. You haven't seen a whole verse you've seen on him on this run. If you look at my previous pass, you will see him use a little bit, not a whole ton actually. Then you've been preferring some of my other mystics. Most frequently Voodoo, even Mojo I've been enjoying quite a bit on the variant 5 as well. Alright, so I was trying to get Venom to bait that S1, couldn't get him to do it, and you see I got a little clip on one part of that S2. But only took one minor little scrap, so I'm fine with that, and at least I was able to get up to my S3. Was like a millisecond off my second E-bait on that S2, but so now we're going to see I did a medium, light, medium, S1, and we'll see right here. And let's just go ahead and have a little Doom style fun with them. So after this S3, I'm going to go back to the same little combo I did last one, which again is going to be medium, then medium, light, medium, S1. Or special, depending on where I'm at on the special. In this case, I got the special worked up so quick based on how much power they had. I skipped over the S1 and went straight to the S2, which knocked them on out, so even better. Alright, well, I'm hoping you enjoyed the video, hoping you enjoyed the whole variant item free. That completes the entire variant 5 of item free pass. Went through all of them, all the entire variant 5 with no items used. I hope it helps you. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to subscribe.